Hey, welcome to another edition of Unhitched Your Dad Trying. This is Cameron Carter here on the ones and twos. This week going completely solo. Decided to completely kick Lauren out. She wasn't paying her dues, and so bye-bye. We had to get rid of her, and by we, I mean Lauren Need here with me. Hey, Lauren, how's it going?
Hey, I wasn't aware that we had dues. I'm a little behind in paying
Yes,
those.
you are. I spend $15 a month on this.
You do?
Yes.
I thought it was $5 a month.
It was $5, but then it varies because we haven't really decided on a fit schedule for how often we're going to do this. To give you all, oh gosh, it's many of you tuning in. I know that you're just tuning in because you're curious about the world of podcasts, right?
Yeah.
You want to know what is this biz that Lauren and I have gotten into, and to give you the kind of rundown, it's this thing where you essentially speak your nothingness into the mic records it, you put it in a file, you put it up in the internet world.
Yeah.
The Tron world. And the Tron world essentially comes knocking on your door, says, hey, $15 please, you're gonna be using Tron a lot, the Tron world a lot, and you gotta pay your toll. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to use it that much this month. I'm going to stay inside mostly and maybe come out just on the weekends. Like, that's okay. $5 will do. And I end up paying that. And
so it's the less you use it, the less you pay.
That's absolutely correct. This is very true with goods and services. When you use the goods and services of the world less, you pay less.
Wait. This is lining up with things I know to be true.
Yeah.
When I buy one Starbucks from coffee.
You could
Lauren, you could have
just you could have just nodded your head and said yes.
But I feel like I'm understanding.
But thank you for drawing out an explanation of how you agree with me and then giving me an anecdote to go along with that in order to convey the simple point to me that you simply agree with what I've just said, that goods and services cost less when you use them less.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay, thank you.
I'm here to confirm and annoy.
Lauren, it's been a while. I think this is the monologue for the week.
I think it should be.
To be honest, I just kind of pressed start and...
I know, we were in the middle of another conversation and then boom, we're recording, but I kind of liked it. It's keeping me on my toes.
Monocles? Monocles, I actually saw monocles for sale this weekend. That's very true.
It doesn't surprise me given where you were. I feel like that's something that a hipster would wear.
Really?
Yes.
Have you ever seen a person wear a monocle? Because I have once.
Outside of costumes?
Yes. Because I've seen it one time in my life, and it was really taken aback. It was in college. I was going to an Aggie game. There was an older gentleman with me. I was sitting on the side where students and their parents sit. And there was an older gentleman, maybe like 2-3 seats down, had a monocle on. Not ironically or in costume, but had a monocle on.
For its use. You know, okay, are we also ruling out professions that require some sort of one-lensed tool? Yeah, like a jeweler.
Like a little microscope?
Yeah, or like someone looking at, I don't know. Yeah, like we're ruling that out. We're talking about someone using a monocle as an actual...
But I don't think those are monocles. I think those are like monoscopes. I don't know.
You're right.
Because they're usually like...
You know what? You're right.
Right. It's like the guy from Disney's Atlantis that had... Or maybe he had bi-monocles. Or...
I don't know.
He had 2 of them. It's crazy. I don't really remember that movie.
I've never seen it.
That's okay. Neither have I. Lauren, let's...
So to answer your question, no. I don't think I've ever seen anyone wear a monocle in real life.
I really hope you do one day.
Because, you know, that's a dream I have now.
No, seriously, think about it. This guy is so classy. I mean, it kind of looked like an antique on him. This guy is ruled out going to an optometrist or getting, you know, actual glasses with different shaped lenses. Is that bifocals?
Bifocals have the different have different prescriptions on the bottom half for reading.
Oh, that's right. I'm a glasses virgin, and I pray that I don't. I pray
don't
that
like it when you say
analogy
that
I was
word.
about to say was not going to be PC. Let's keep this PG-13. So,
Deal.
hey, our good friend, you want to answer that?
No.
Well, she was going to potentially be a guest on this episode, so
That's true, but it's too late.
It's
We're
too
starting,
late.
we're rolling this. Once you get this, steamer rolling, it's hard to stop the steamer.
When you
as
get
we
this hot
learned
steamer going.
in Austin Powers.
That's true.
Remember?
And in Who Framed Roger Rabbit in that horrific scene.
Who framed Wajo Wabbit?
Who did frame him?
I don't remember, but I did love that movie.
Did you? Now, we talked about this on a previous episode and how we reflected briefly on the traumatic scene in which the villain, his name escapes me, gets traumatically rolled over and essentially reveals that he himself is a cartoon.
Yes.
Now, that I can't see anything past that movie. I've seen it multiple times in my life, but just that one scene is the lens. Speaking of lenses, the lens through which I see the whole movie, and I can't get past it.
Not me. I can kind of get my mind there if I need to, but I just cannot stop picturing this stupid rabbit with that smoking hot Jessica Rabbit. Like, it does not make sense to me why she would marry him, and why and how they could, make fudge. Make the love. Yeah,
make fudge love.
Make the fudge and love as one rabbit and one human. Both cartoon.
That's true. Yeah, I always thought. Well, one, there is that physiology question that comes to mind, and interspecies gray area that comes to mind that we as an audience just kind of like, okay, that's fine.
Like a horse and a donkey.
Right, a horse and a donkey.
Not a honky, a donkey.
And honky. Well, like a donkey and a dragon. Shrek 2, baby. Like, how does that work?
Literally, Shrek 2 babies.
Shrek 2 babies are an abomination of God, and they should not be around. So I'm kind of glad that we didn't get to see Who Framed Roger Rabbit 2, or, because we always know that in cartoons, the second one, especially of 90s cartoons, the second one always involved the love interest having kids, and we kind of followed the adventure of the kids, right?
I would need more examples to agree with that.
So Shrek
statement.
2, you kind of have the little dragon babies.
But that's prior 90s, or that's 2000s.
It's true. Give me 1 second. I can
let you pause on this.
Wasn't Simba's Pride perfect example, right?
I don't think I saw.
Wait, did they
Lion King 2? I'm a purist.
Somewhere in the Lion King trilogy, I think it's a trilogy, but somewhere in the Lion King universe there were children, and you kind of followed their adventures. Trust me.
I'm not gonna put up a fight because I don't watch the sequels to cartoon. I just lied. I watched Finding Dory yesterday, which I honestly think I like Finding Dory better than Finding Nemo.
I like it. We were watching it not too long ago, and I'm kind of there with you because I've watched Finding Nemo just so much because it was such a great movie. It was just nice to have something new that I think was completely on par with Finding Nemo. And so I think for me, the newness of that movie. So
I just don't like Marlin. So the less Marlin, the better. That's my opinion.
I get that.
Down with Marlin.
I mean, who even voiced him? Like, he wasn't.
I'll tell you who did it. I'll tell you right now.
So Lady and the Tramp 2 is a perfect example of a child adventure, right? They had a son, and he went on an adventure, and that's one I'm thinking of.
Big fan of Lady and the Tramp 2, huh? Big fan?
I'm right there in the middle.
I could say you're Malcolm in the middle.
I was just using it as an example. You don't have to nail me to the door with that. Jeez, I worked. I actually did a Google on that and worked hard to find that one example.
Told you, I am here to confirm and annoy. That is my whole purpose.
Well, while we're at it, we're not exactly here to, you may be here to confirm and annoy.
Mm-hmm. Can I tell you really quick? Albert Brooks is the name of Marlin, voice of Marlin.
Right. And who is that? Well, I mean, what else has Albert been in?
I'll show you. I'll tell you. I'll show ya.
So while you look that up, I want to go ahead and do just kind of the why we're here. Lauren and I, we put on this podcast for you every week. We dropped that 15 sweet dollars.
3 Lincolns.
We dropped 3 Lincolns on y'all in order to produce this for a total of maybe 30 people we know and about, I don't know, 230 people we don't know.
Welcome.
And then the occasional person we know from work that checks in and listens for 5 minutes and then immediately turns it off. But we essentially come together in this safe space. And Lauren, as we all know, is the unhitched part of our podcast. I am the dad trying, and we essentially get together and every week to review life's outings and experiences to ultimately determine whose life is better, Lauren's or mine. But really under the categories of singles, marrieds, or parents. So,
well said.
What did you find out?
I found out that the moment I start recording a podcast, everyone decides to call me and text me. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about. He's been in a lot of things. He's been in, he was in Dr. Dolittle. He was in The Muse. He was in The In-Laws. He was in the Simpsons movie, Weeds, Drive, Concussion.
Who is he in Drive? I don't know.
Bernie Rose.
I mean, not a prominent actor, I would say. Not one that would exactly, cause people to lose their crap
Marbles.
lose their marbles, right?
Right.
PG-13 here.
Can I, I'm sorry, you were about to say something, but in your opinion.
That was about it.
Give me an example of an actor that you would lose your marbles for. I'm talking full on fangirl out, like you would start to sweat, maybe shake. Like who?
Now, I have such for me, this day and era, there's so much content out there, as we all know, because there's so much stuff. So I'm kind of one of these niche type people where,
yes, you are.
I don't really, I'm indie,
I
I'm
know.
indie. And so what I like is kind of
what no one else knows about. Yeah.
Whenever Albert Pujols gets in a movie, I love sports cameos. So Shaq.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I have been, and Amy knows this, my wife knows this, that I've been having, or last month I had a couple dreams where I met Shaq. I started following Shaq on Instagram, and that Instagram is just you're like, oh yeah, you're a person. You live in a crazy place that's super cool and you have many friends and I totally want to be your friend. And then I'm like, oh no, you have 7 million followers and I'm just one of them. But I keep having these dreams where I meet Shaq and it's totally cool and chill. And he's maybe a little more reminiscent of Kazam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Do you think it's because, how tall is Shaq?
Oh, he's tall enough for me, baby.
Do you think that's why? Do you think you would enjoy being I'm a little guy next to Shaq?
I essentially want to be, and I'll find a video of this and throw this on our website, which I need to plug. We have a website in which I kind of do the same thing they do on Stop Podcasting Yourself and do kind of pictures of our own podcasts that relate to our podcast.
Yes.
But the video I would choose for this week would be SNL skit where Will Ferrell gets rocked to sleep by Shaq, and that's essentially what I really, really want.
You want to get rocked to sleep by Shaq?
No, in all seriousness, I would drop a good $2,000 in order to have Shaq for one time in my life come to my house, pick me up, and we would goof around. People would be like, yeah, Shaq's coming to Cameron's house tonight, and I would get him my cool basketball jammies. But maybe not, because basketball is his whole thing, so I'd find things that he would like. What are
genie bottles.
Genie bottles, Superman
maybe
comics.
Pizza. I feel like he likes pizza.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe beer. I mean, who doesn't
Yeah,
love a
he
good
likes
brew dog?
icy hot too.
That's true.
Y'all could rub icy hot on
I
each
would
other.
get like spotted pajamas, icy hot myself up, so I got that sweet icy hot menthol smell. And he could just cradle me in his arms like he did Will Ferrell and say, "No one's going to hurt my little man," and rock me to sleep. Because I know I'm exactly Will Ferrell's height.
You're taller than Will Ferrell.
No, I think Will Ferrell's about what? He's like 6'7".
No, he's not.
Yeah, do a Google.
I'm Googling that.
He's definitely up there. We're definitely a part of the tall people club. And yeah, I would fit in his arms. I think Shaq would have no problem lifting me up.
So you heard it here first, people. We need your help getting this to happen for Cameron. $2,000. And anything you're willing to contribute. We could even start a GoFundMe for this, for Cameron to be held like a baby in Shaq's arms. Let's make it happen.
Well, if it doesn't happen, I will. I think that would make for a good premise for one of our episodes. I've never done a GoFundMe. I've never supported a GoFundMe.
Okay, Will Ferrell is 6'3".
Is he really?
Mm-hmm. He's just, everyone in Hollywood is so much shorter. So he looks that much taller.
You're telling me it's an optical illusion? A camera trick, if you will?
Yep.
Oh, fun.
Yep.
The magic of Hollywood. I'm going to calm down.
So Shaq
is mine.
The one you would geek out.
Yeah. What do you think? I kind of feel that you would be in the kind of sports / realm too, right? It would be Toni Romo, right?
Yeah. Yes. Well, that one I actually have kind of met Toni Romo, and I did in fact freak out and scream.
You did in fact get rocked to sleep by Toni Romo.
Oh my gosh! Dream journal. Yes, I wish. No, but he's a happily married man. But
doesn't mean he can't provide services.
That's
like
true.
rocking services.
And
services, Amy, wife is nearby. Services doesn't always have to mean this is a PG-13. This is what we promised to you, the listener.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got a 13-year-old in the car, put us on.
We're fine.
We're fine. And we're fun. We're kid-friendly if that kid is 13 years old.
That's right. So yeah, I have met Toni Romo already, and I did scream, and I squealed. He walked by and I said, "Hi, Tony." And he looked at me and he said, "Hey." And I just... And I freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
I've also...
As Dallas girls do around the Romes.
I've actually gotten to meet quite a few famous people in my lifetime.
Congratulations.
I really don't understand why. It's just I happen to be in the right place at the right time. But I will say, if I ever met Andy Samberg, I would lose it. I would lose it.
I think that's a very respectable comedian that... I mean, he is good looking. He is...
Yeah.
I mean, some people, not everyone would agree, but, you know, he's kind of got that little niche that you might also, you know, he fits into your puzzle piece.
He does. That really didn't sound right.
I mean, you know.
Oh, gosh, our feet just touched. I'm so unhappy with the timing of that.
So this week's a little different. We're moving away from the table so the wife can actually use the table to do her work. Wife's now a teacher, chugging along full steam. So we're here having fun while the wife gets to do her homework, literal homework. Fun.
She thought she was done with that.
No, and she's totally not using the table, so we could have... How fun. We'll update y'all when she actually moves over. But Andy Samberg, as we've said this multiple times, our favorite comedy of all time is what?
Hot Rod.
Hot Rod, right.
Hot Rod.
This is what brought us together. This is why we're best friends.
It's true.
You are my best friend.
You are my best friend.
I got it on record.
And if Shaq comes here, I'm going to be jealous. Can I just say it? Because I think y'all will become best friends.
There is no way Shaq would. I mean, I feel like he would have to bring his... Well, does Shaq need bodyguards? Is that redundant?
That's a great question.
Who's gonna F with Shaq?
Who's gonna be bigger than Shaq to guard Shaq?
Like, the only thing that can take that guy down is a bullet. I shouldn't say this because I feel like this is gonna ruin my chances.
That's true. Or like some sort of, maybe like a steamroller, like we've already mentioned.
So like, just, if he does have bodyguards, they're gonna be very cautious of this. But like, you know, a bodyguard wouldn't like take, I mean, I don't, do bodyguards take bullets for celebrities? Because at the end of the day, they're just celebrities. Whereas, like, political figures are people that we, as thousands of U.S. citizens, have voted for. And so, essentially, bodyguards are representing the people's interest, much like a soldier. But when it comes to a celebrity, would a celebrity take a bullet for that? I mean, would a bodyguard for the celebrity take a bullet for that person?
I think it depends on the relationship between the bodyguard and the
true.
celebrity. I think if they're like really good friends anyway, then maybe they would take a bullet for them just because they're good friends. I don't know if you've seen the movie First Kid with Sinbad, but spoiler,
Very good movie.
Sinbad does take a bullet for the first kid because they've formed a friendship.
But it's the first kid. It's a political figure.
That's true. But we also don't know because it happens at the end of the movie after they've formed this bond. So we don't know if it would have happened before they had the bond, you know?
Yeah.
Sinbad, what's he up to?
Well, I feel like he's just trucking along. I feel like Sinbad, I'm just going to posit a guess, and then I'm actually going to look it up here. But if he seems like one of these, I feel like all good comedians that have had a good heyday in the late 90s, early 2000s, all have to go to, like, you're required to move to Vegas and then do shows there for just in perpetuity till, you hit the grave.
Right. Like Carrot Top.
Carrot Top will die
in Vegas.
His body will rot on the desert sands.
I just imagine only his hair sticking out of the ground.
Sticking out of the grave.
Yeah. Like he's buried vertically and just his hair sticks out, much like the carrot,
but
leaves.
The carrot leaves, which are green.
That was really hard.
I mean,
I know
I think that should be a requirement for Carrot Top is that he's buried vertically, much like a carrot. In the case that we want to resurrect his corpse, it's an easy pull from the ground.
That's the plan.
Hey,
That's the plan.
I mean, come on. You have to. Comedians are very keenly aware of death and just kind of the horrors of this world. If anything, Carrot Top should have a good sense of a good humor about his own death. And so he should do the world a solid and be buried vertically, much like a carrot is.
I mean, I would
with
do
his
that
head
for the world.
popped out of the ground. So
no,
it's
not
like
his whole head.
No, but it's the Carrot Top.
Just the hair.
Okay. I guess the top in this situation is the hair. Oh, bums. I spilled my drink.
Cameron was getting too,
this idea really excites me.
He was emoting with his hands. So Cameron, this week, our topic is one that is very fun to my heart.
True.
To my heart, in my heart, near and around my heart, is going to see...
And you have a round heart, isn't that right?
Is going to see the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Lauren, I felt like you just didn't yes and me right there.
Well, that's why I'm not good enough to be in the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yes, sorry. I totally messed up the reveal. Can I do the big reveal? Because I talked over it and interrupted you?
Sure.
We went to UCB this weekend, the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Well, I didn't go this weekend. You went this weekend.
I went this weekend, but you went rather recently, and it's something that we've been wanting to just, chat about personally. We haven't even talked about our experiences. You shared a little bit yourself when you last went. I guess this is confessions, our confession segment. That is our unofficial segment. Do you want to tell us really when you went? I've
been twice. I went in April of this year. No, I'm sorry. February of this year.
Apologies.
In April of last year. So I've been twice now to UCB. The UCB theater in the Chelsea Theater in Manhattan.
And shall we get into our topic, Thunder?
Yes.
Boom, 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 topic thunder.
What?
This week, as we have already said, we went to the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in New York, specifically the Chelsea Theater. Now, Lauren, we've already done an episode on improv in general. Really kind of your experience with improv in the world of taking improv classes, going to improv shows, and really we did a general overview of both of our experiences as a single woman in the world of improv and then a married father in the world of improv. To be honest, actually, if I remember correctly, I believe you won that episode.
Probably.
But I still think we wanted to be very specific. Kind of the holy grail of all improv, as I see it, really comes from the Upright Citizens Brigade theaters. Now, having been in New York this past weekend, this is definitely something I wanted to do. And the host I was staying with, Dagny, and my friend Jacob, who recently moved there, we all really wanted to go to the theater, check it out. And, we did, and it was a blast. I guess I'm kind of already getting ahead of myself with my score. But we went and saw an improv show called Grandma's Ashes.
Yeah.
Didn't you see that?
I've seen them.
Okay.
I've seen them twice.
Yeah, so
they're awesome.
So I'll kind of go ahead and get into my experience with the UCB theater. So we went. So let me back up real quick. Went to New York for this weekend. Was originally going to go with friend of the podcast, Walter Hassel. Walter Hassel is just having a really bad month, and family was a part of Hurricane Harvey, got impacted, and just things are not going well. And so ended up pretty much going by myself and then staying with friends, Jacob and Dagny. Went to go to a podcast festival, which is kind of a weird thing to
Nerd
admit.
alert. But I love it.
Do you?
I want to go.
Let me ask you, you would go to a podcast festival?
For sure.
I've met some of my new favorite friends there. So, but we're all very keenly aware that we all should not go announce to the world that we just went to a podcast festival, because I might have let it slip at work today, and it was very awkward trying to wangle my way out of that situation. Wangle.
I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you.
No, nothing's wrong with that. I would go to a podcast festival.
Now, I will say there is something wrong with it, because I did meet one person there that has gone too far into podcast fandom.
Oh.
And so I've saw the darker side of the podcast obsession.
What?
This is...
Is this a dumb thing? Is this going to be dumb thing?
It's not a dumb thing, but I'll just simply say that one can get too much into podcasts and podcast celebrities, the very niche of podcast celebrities. And it's very weird. It's a little uncomfortable, and just, it's like, I can kind of see how my life, people are like, hey, that's Cameron, the podcast man. People definitely say that about the guy I met. So...
Oh, so you kind of saw something like your future if left unchecked.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So check me when we probably need to shut this down. I mean, this is fine. We can shut this down, but
right.
my love.
You can
for
stop
podcasts,
anytime you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drop the mic. That's what they all say, Cameron. But I'll keep you in check. I'll make sure you don't go too deep in.
Thanks, podcast friend.
You're welcome.
You're right there when I need you, podcast friend.
You're welcome, podcast friend.
And not to mention, you are my best podcast friend.
Thank you.
Yes. And all my friends are podcast friends. And I'm in a podcast marriage. And she's my best podcast friend in marriage.
Wife?
Yeah. And podcast wife.
Mm-hmm.
So I left my podcast wife and daughter at home to go to the podcast convention, and then after one of the Comedy Bang Bang shows that we went to, great podcast. If you don't listen to it, go for it. It's a great improv comedy podcast. So I actually saw 2 improv shows that night. A lot of the people on the stage for the Comedy Bang Bang podcast were UCB alumni.
Really?
John Gabris, I think Jason Mantzoukas, Jessica McKenna, who's more of an LA UCB person. Mm-hmm. You also had, Mary Holland, a very prominent, UCB alumni. In fact, not even alumni. She still does her show with Lauren Lapkus, Aaron Whitehead, and then I always forget the third one. But they have a show called Wild Horses in LA. That's a really good show. I've only listened to it or watched clips, which sounds even sadder. But after the Comedy Bang Bang show, we went. It was we saw Grandma's Ashes, the podcast essentially, the UCB show was essentially based off of a premise of people write their secrets. Is this the one that you saw?
Yeah.
So they write their kind of dirty secrets and put them in a bucket, and then they do an improv show based off everyone's secrets. I did not write a secret. Did you?
I did, and they chose it.
Oh my God. Well, they used everyone. I think maybe in certain cases
they didn't use, they all picked 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So some of the secrets for this show included one guy talking about how it is dirty. I will say it. Skip ahead 30 seconds later if you don't hear it. In the back of his family trip car, which is super nasty. I know. And they
We're going to have to put an E on this one.
Maybe. Should I just say the F word and then
no,
then we can officially hit the E button?
Bleep it out or something.
Bleep it out.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering what that bleep was, you can probably fill in the blanks.
You can bleep yourself.
Bleep
if that
yourself.
Makes sense.
Go bleep yourself. Another one wasn't that funny. There's a lot of them weren't that funny. Some were like timid and shy. One was like someone saying like, when I was 5, I said, I hate you, God, out loud. And another one was like, another one was like, I one time tried to trick a guy to come into my tent, and I kind of used a tent as a snare in order to get him to like be with me. So kind of most of them
like a legit tent, like a camping trip?
A camping tent, and yeah. So
By the way, if these are any of your secrets, let us know.
Tweet at us.
Yeah, tweet at us.
We'll send you $5.
We'll put a face with the secret.
Absolutely.
You were in New York last weekend.
So good show. It was funny. A lot of references to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I will not do the rundown of the actual show because, as I find in my experience, people don't want to hear your recap of an improv show. So I will leave it at that.
I'm happy you found that out before this.
Yeah. Well, I had fun. So the night ended up being me and my friend Dagny Stewart, who we used to work together. Originally it was going to be me, Dagny, and her husband, and we were all going to go to see Comedy Bang Bang. Unfortunately, Jacob had kind of a last-minute rehearsal he had to go to. They're actors in New York, so...
Dagny, past guest, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, past guest Dagny. She has since moved on to New York, and so we went to the Comedy Bang Bang show, and then we went to UCB, and eventually Jacob met up with us, but it was good. They have like a nice little bar. We got some brew dogs. We chilled in the back, and just, yeah, it was a good show. I did have a problem where in the middle of the show, I went to go get another round of beers for us, not realizing that the kind of black box theater type place we were in had a very low-hanging ceiling right by the DJ booth.
Oh, no.
I thudded my head so hard against the low-hanging ceiling. It was black. I couldn't see it. It was dark.
Oh, my gosh.
And I had these little New York frat guys right next to me like, you okay, dog? And so that was fun. That was fun having them.
You're like, I'm sorry.
I feel like you're not genuinely concerned about me, so I'm fine. I'm sounding like Homestar Runner. But yeah, good time.
Good time, low ceiling.
Good time, low ceiling, fun cam.
It's such a great place. It's so tiny. You feel like you're part of the show. Like you feel
Absolutely.
like you could easily just kind of step out and be in it.
Yeah, you didn't get tagged in?
No, I didn't. Shoot.
Oh, well, you are
Shoot.
part of the show because did you just say
No, I said shoot.
Oh, dang it.
No, you did. Shoot.
Sorry for everyone who, that bleep back there. I accidentally said
Cameron.
Sorry. Lauren. Cameron. What about you? What happened? So you went in April, or I'm sorry.
February.
Fred Brew.
February.
And you went with Ashley
Dixon.
Yes. I always say Dickinson.
You're wrong. Sorry. Ashley Dixon, yes, my good friend that lives up there. She is a pastry chef in Manhattan. Everybody, that is a real thing you can do with your life if you decide to. So, Just keep dreaming. Keep pursuing those dreams, guys. Shoot for the stars.
Totally thought that was a myth. Thank you for clarity.
I know. I mean, it sounds like I'm being sarcastic. I'm not. She completely changed her career out of nowhere and decided that that's what she wanted to do. And now she's living the dream.
Apparently killing it.
Killing it in Manhattan. Anyway, so Ashley, knowing how much I love comedy, took me to go see Upright Citizens Brigade when I saw her last April, and again this time when I saw her in February. And one of my good friends also...
Wait, when you say last April, you can't just mean a year ago and expect me to think that wasn't April of 2017.
It was April of 2016.
It's like someone saying like this Friday and meaning like next Friday.
It was, sorry, last April, 2 Aprils ago, April of 2016.
It's just... Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And then I was there in February of 2017.
Thank you.
So there you go, man.
You were in New York in the wintertime.
I was for February.
February.
February 14th, Valentine's Day. That was on purpose.
Did you
Because
really?
I wanted to be there for Valentine's Day. So
Did you have a
I was meeting Tom Hanks at the top of the Empire State Building.
Oh.
But not as like a date, just like a like, hey buddy, like a big fan.
Hey bud.
Yeah.
Just.
I'm like, I respect what you and Rita have. No big deal. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to come between you guys, but just can you please meet me at the top of the Empire State Building?
Just in case there's a fault line, I want to be the net under that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to catch you.
I'm here, Tom. You're my father's age, but that's fine. No, actually, not fine.
I find that you don't say that phrase too often.
No, my roommates actually asked me yesterday. They said, Lauren, what's the youngest you would date? And what's the oldest you would date?
Go ahead and tell us.
So I came to find out.
Okay.
Right now, the youngest I would date is 6 years younger than me.
Hold on. So what's your... Go ahead and tell us
I'm
your
28,
age. Okay,
so I would
28.
date a 22-year-old.
Okay, that's good. It's half your age plus 7 is the rule.
I don't abide by those rules. But if
I think
was
they're
older,
a good rule, and I think most people should abide by them.
If I was older, I would date 10 years younger than me. But right now, 28, 18 is just too young.
Yes, absolutely. It's a teenager.
But if I was 35, I would date a 25-year-old. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So
my wife in the other room just gave us a woof. Like one of the Olsen twins.
As a married person, you cannot have an opinion on this.
I think
neither of you.
I think everyone except for those that are outside of that weird people in those weird relationships can have an opinion on this. That is ludicrous.
I'm not saying I would date an 18-year-old now. I'm saying if I was older, I would date 10 years younger than me at that age. If I was 34, I would date a 24-year-old. But it all depends on the person. It all depends on the person.
True. I mean,
I'm just saying these are my parameters.
You're bumming me out.
I
don't want you to get to 34.
I'm not going to seek them out. But if I meet a great dude and I'm like, that guy's great, and then he's like, by the way, I'm 22, I'd be like, well, I wish you were older, but as I've previously stated on my podcast, you're fine.
It'd be funny. He like goes outside of your window, holds up a boombox. Kevin Spacey, or not Kevin? Who's the guy that?
John Cusack.
John Cusack, and plays this podcast at this exact moment. And you're like, oh.
And then I'm like, oh, he went to so much trouble. He found a boombox in 2017.
Exactly, and it's not one of the Bluetooth ones.
That wasn't even around when.
How did he even make a tape of this podcast? What an interesting fellow. He's so good with audio.
I mean, I feel the need to say. Again, these are not ideal. These are parameters.
Sure.
These are outliers.
Right.
So then I would say the oldest I would go.
You've been reading Malcolm Gladwell lately?
No.
Okay.
Get out of here with that reference.
Get up on out of here.
The oldest I would date would be 30. How old am I? The oldest I would date would be 38.
That's pretty respectable.
So, I mean, again, outliers.
Sure.
Would I want that? No. I'm meaning like seek that out. Am I going to be like
no? Must
be 22? No.
So what's your ideal age right now? What is the tip of the bell curve?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that. That's an interesting question.
I mean, we got the highs and the lows.
Yeah, I don't know. My age? A little older?
I mean,
a little younger? I want to die first. So my goal is to marry someone a little younger.
Really?
But
what if you marry someone and they're like not as spectacular, and you're kind of like, I wouldn't mind if you go out first.
Oh, see, that's a good point. Then you're like, dang.
But you're going under the assumption you're probably going to marry someone you like and that they stay that way.
I mean, hopefully.
Like sure.
I can just rule out of the people I'm like, about.
So 20, are you legit? Are you like being completely honest and saying you'd rather be older, like that ideal? Really? Okay.
I mean, that's just because here's the thing. When you're not actually envisioning any one person, you can pick out anything you want. It's
sure.
like, I want him to be, I want him to always smell like vanilla. That's what he's going to be like in my mind. Is that probably going to happen? No.
I'll be honest, before I married Amy, I didn't exactly have completely Amy in my mind, and then someone comes along and shatters it.
Exactly.
You're going to meet a 39-year-old bearded woman, and you're going to fall head over heels in love.
Me?
See.
I'm going to find a bearded woman?
I was speaking of my preferences.
I'm like, I don't think my
who knows? You're going to be completely different. So, UCB, how do we even get here?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
So you also saw Grandma's Ashes, right? You and Ashley had gone. Did y'all get yourself some brew dogs from the tiny bar?
We did, indeed.
What'd you drink?
I don't remember, man. It's been a while.
Sorry, I say brew dogs because I literally just went to the City of Hot Dogs and saw a show called Doughboys that you as well love.
Yeah.
And for Mitch, who I actually got to meet this weekend. Sorry, I wanted to drop that.
Hey, Mitch.
Hey, Mitch. And Nick. I got to meet Nick. That's great.
Nick.
He says brew dogs, so I got it stuck in my head.
That's what and I was like, is that a brand of beer? I was trying to go with you on that, but I
like
just
a brewski to go with a hot dog.
All right.
I don't know what he's saying. He's
talking that gibberish. Anyway, I did get beer, but I don't remember what it was. It was a while ago. But all this to say, I've seen it like 4 shows at that UCB theater.
Sure.
I saw a sketch show and seen 3 improv shows. 2 improv shows I've seen were the same people, Grandma's Ashes.
Sure.
Fantastic. Love them. Especially this one guy that I don't know his name. He was an extra in the movie Don't Think Twice.
Really?
I'll show you later.
Okay. Cause
he was an extra.
Because there was one dude in the show that I did recognize, and he was my favorite part of the show. Kind of skinnier, maybe slightly balding dude.
Yes, and he's gay.
Yes, he is gay.
Yes, that's him.
Yeah, he was great.
He's fantastic.
He definitely, he's a dude that you would totally want to see in, SNL.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Don't Think Twice. Don't Think Twice is essentially a story written by Ira Glass and I always forget the comedian's name. The Sleepwalk with Me comedian. Who's kind of funny. Anyway, created by Ira Glass's NPR, that NPR guy. It's a great movie. We saw it together.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Mike Birbiglia. I didn't see it with you. I watched it alone on Netflix at my apartment.
You didn't go to the Magnolia Theater with us? Who saw Don't Think Twice with us? It might have been Liz. Liz and Caitlin.
Oh, I wasn't there.
It's rare that we're ever out with Liz without you.
I know. Yeah. I'm actually not a big fan of that movie.
Oh, I thought you were about to say, I'm not a big fan of Liz.
No, I love Liz. I'm not a big fan of that movie. I thought I was going to like it a lot more than I did.
You know what? I'm kind of the same way with it. It gets a little too real at times.
Yes, I wanted more humor, and
right.
It was... I also think that there's something really difficult and not natural about watching people perform improv that's not actually improv. It's a scene in a movie.
Was that not? I felt like that was actual improv. Amy and I are kind of the same way in how we view that movie. We didn't really like the movie, but we actually really enjoyed the improv scenes.
I don't think that was any improv.
Oh, really?
Honestly. I mean, granted, what do I know? But just watching it, it didn't feel real.
I also saw another person, one of the podcasts I went to, the live shows, which is weird still saying that. Chris Gethard is in that movie. But he was also a guest on, the How Did This Get Made podcast where they review crappy movies.
Who was he in that movie?
Chris Gethard was the guy whose father dies in the movie. Anyway, this isn't entertaining.
I know.
For
Sorry,
our
we're just catching up.
So great, semi-decent movie. If you want a more somber movie, check out Don't Think Twice. Yeah, it's totally free.
And the guy that
better alternative is Sleepwalk with Me. That's the funnier version of this movie. Watch that instead.
Okay. In Don't Think Twice, the guy in the audience that gives a suggestion, that is the guy in Grandma's Ashes.
That's
that
it.
Cameron and I got to see. So anyway, he's fantastic. But one of the shows I saw was their Asscat show, which is it's a free show on Sundays.
Am I going to have to bleep that out?
No, that's what it's called.
Okay, that's fine.
ASCAT.
Oh, thank you.
And they always have a celebrity guest.
Mm-hmm.
My friend has been and he saw Tom Hanks. He's also been and seen Amy Poehler. I mean, these are legit celebs. I went. I
mean, they're B-class celebrities.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, maybe B-.
Phew. Again, Tom Hanks. I
they're
I just saw him.
They're not like A-class Shaqs and Toni Romos.
Maybe. Well, I did just see Tom Hanks on the Empire
State Building. A is for
Building.
athletics. Sorry. Sorry.
I did just see Tom Hanks on the Empire State Building, so I wouldn't be like as excited if I saw him on stage. But I got to see Food Network's own Jim, Alex Grumicelli.
Are you saying that right?
No, she's a Chopped judge.
Chopped judge
on the show Chopped,
and she also has like other little gigs too, right?
She has other shows. Honestly, I could take her or leave her. I'm like, okay, cool. The main celeb to me, though, was one of the members of the show, of the crew. What are they called? Of the team, whatever. Was one of the Sonic guys from the commercials.
Right. Now this is TJ.
Pete.
Oh, it's Pete.
Pete Grows.
Pete Grows.
Pete Grows.
Pete grows as he eats more Sonic?
Pete grows with every tater tot.
So, now, I might have mentioned this show to you. The show that I've really liked over this past year is called Shrink. It has this really great improv, UCB guy himself, Tim Baltz. He's actually been one of my favorite improvisers next to Jessica McKenna. But him and Mary Holland essentially kind of have this show together in which he is a reoccurring patient, as this guy essentially runs kind of a fake psychiatrist office out of his garage to make money to cover medical school. Great premise. Unfortunately, the show got canceled as like CISO, the hosting network, got shut down. But he was like, it's just weird because he wasn't the Sonic dude, and it made me feel so weird. And it was even worse because he was like a bulimic and anorexic, and he was like struggling. So
this is the other Sonic dude, though. We're not talking about the same Sonic dude.
Shoot, I feel like you're right.
No, that's okay.
But all that to say, like seeing them out of their element is like in like the UCB space. I think that would be weird. They'll always be the Sonic dudes.
Yeah, he definitely was to me the Sonic dude performing improv. You know. But I was way more starstruck to see him than I was to see the celebrity guest.
Yeah,
I was just like, Sonic! Oh my gosh.
Now, you know what would be a great get? Is seeing Sonic the Hedgehog there at that UCB theater.
You know, that would be great in a lot of ways.
Or Knuckles, Tails, all three of them.
You lost me.
That's okay.
Banjo-Kazooie? I don't know. Other?
Yeah, them too.
Cat Dog.
I think we just jumped genres. Not even jumped genres.
I'm sure.
We jumped platforms.
Yeah.
From Sega Genesis to Nintendo 64 Banjo-Kazooie to Cat Dog, a Nickelodeon Nicktoon.
I think Banjo-Kazooie was actually PlayStation.
It might have been on multiple platforms.
I remember being a child and trading, because my brother and I were sharing, quote unquote, the game Banjo-Kazooie.
Right.
But really what that meant was David would play it and I would watch him play. Because I didn't want to play, I just wanted to watch him play. One time...
I'm kind of like that too. I actually sometimes prefer to watch someone play video games than to play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I don't want to get involved in this. I just want to tell you what you've done wrong.
Sure.
So I'm watching...
You're like a hindsight gamer.
Oh, I'm annoying, you know? That's what I do. So I remember one time we were in the car and my brother had this really, really delicious sandwich. It was a Schlotsky sandwich. And David was annoyed that we technically were sharing this game. He wanted to own the game outright. So I said, David, I want another bite of your sandwich, because I took a bite of a sandwich, you know. And I was like, I really like that. I want more. So I said, David, give it to me. And he goes, I'll give you my sandwich if you give me your half of Banjo-Kazooie.
And is this like when your mom intervened and said, all right, I'm going to King Solomon this game and y'all each get half?
No.
I don't think that's messed up. Your brother just...
No, I was the one who was a genius because I didn't do anything with that game anyway. I just got a free sandwich out of the deal. I mean, free. My parents bought all our food. I just got his
Did your parents buy
sandwich.
that game too?
Yeah, and David's sitting there being like, idiot, I got the whole game. I'm sitting there going, idiot, I got a sandwich, and I don't even want that stupid game. So I traded
What kind of sandwiches with it?
Oh, it was the Schlotsky's original.
Oh, that's pretty solid
That's really
choice.
good.
Great. Have to get it without onions.
No, you and your onions, man.
I know. They're the worst. It's like, hey, I'm enjoying this great sandwich. Surprise, a spicy, crunchy, white piece of poop.
Onions are the best. This is the great divide between you and I.
This is also why we sit so far apart when we do these podcasts.
Yeah, because I probably smell like onions.
And actually, we don't sit too far apart because our feet keep touching.
I know, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's nasty.
So, that's the story of how Lauren traded a video game for a sandwich.
Well, I think great story.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry I interrupted so many times.
It's okay.
But I think we should get into ratings.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to give my UCB experience a 8.
Okay. My rating was also an 8.
Look at that.
So let me explain why yours was an 8. Coming from the experience as a single woman experiencing the UCB.
Thank you. I need that reminder. Okay, so honestly, there's something really fun about watching people perform like that, improv in general, because it's so vulnerable.
Improvising.
Yes. They're so vulnerable because they don't have anything prepared and they just go out there and they trust each other. And I've been a part of that. So anyway, the second time I went, I knew what that was like. The first time I went, I didn't, and I was just in awe. But also as a single woman, there's a part of you always thinks that maybe like the cute one on stage will come talk to you after. And you'll be, oh my gosh, always.
I think you could think this about any show, not just improv. If you're that crazy.
Yeah, of course. But this is a small place. It's not like, you know.
Maybe that animatronic rat up there on stage will come down and talk to me after he's playing,
he's so
after
cute.
he's serving this pizza.
No, but you asked me, single woman, like it's exciting. You have anticipation. You're like, oh my gosh, they're so funny. I really like the way they think. They're a good performer. They're really cool. Maybe they'll come talk to me. You get in your head, you know?
I get this. I think I had a similar thought, but my thought was like, oh, I really want to be friends with these people.
See?
Like,
yeah.
It's kind of one of those niche celebrities that you're just like, you know, you're kind of a cool celebrity, but I also would.
But you're a real person.
Like, we're sharing this small spaces and intimate theater. I can touch you with my hand, like if I wanted to, and be a part of the show.
Yeah. And when they read my secret and used it in the show, I felt really cool.
What was your secret?
I'm not going to tell you.
Can you tell me later?
Maybe.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We have another segment we never did called Secrets.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think as a single woman, also you can kind of get in a daydream space where you're like, I could drop everything and move to New York next week and I could have this life. And there's some like this really exciting feeling about when you're in New York, this no strings attached feeling that isn't as scary as it is when you're in your real life. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. New York, so just, it's kind of improv's like treading water. You could definitely keep doing it. Well, I guess eventually you'll run out, but you never know what's next. Just like New York, I don't know, you don't know what's around the corner. You need to be able to adjust. You need to be able to improvise. I just feel like there's a lot of unknowns in improv. Same with just moving to New York. So
same with being single.
Absolutely. I mean, there are definitely more knowns on the other side of that, but there's still a lot of unknowns in whatever phase of life you're in. Mm-hmm. But definitely more when you're single, just by sheer laws of math. Also,
I forgot to say that the first time I saw Grandma's Ashes back in April of 2016, there was a girl in it, a woman who was also a guest star on Broad City. Oh, speaking of, those girls were in Broad City, UCB, and they didn't get on a house team, so they started their own show.
Absolutely.
So that just goes to show you how good UCB is. If those are the girls that didn't make a team.
There you go.
And they're hysterical. I'm sorry. Your rating.
So
8. Mine's an 8.
Mine was an 8. I felt like from the introduction, it was very hospitable. Like, they have great customer service there. If you think about the operation from the DJ in the booth, just everything, though there are a lot of unknowns and they literally improvise, but I felt like they had just the service of just down. Everything from the bartender to the woman introducing the concept of the show. I felt like I could be friends with any of them, that they wanted to be my friends, and I bet they're genuinely nice. And so, like, also when I was leaving the show, a lot of them walked out of the theater same time as us and like said hi to a few people, but then one of the dudes was walking down the street and just jumped on the subway, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're totally just like us. So I just thought that was kind of neat. So overall, I don't know, just very down to earth. I, of course, was cheating. I ended up going by myself. Amy had a nice, I call it an introverts weekend with, Ellie and Amy, and, they did some shopping, had a blast. And I had a weekend that was supposed to be a guy's weekend. It ended up kind of being a guy and
a third wheel weekend.
And well, I was the third wheel, I guess.
Sure.
Anyway, it was a great show, great time, fun. 8. Yeah.
Cool.
I think we only have a little bit more time left here, so let's go ahead and jump into Dumb Things.
Okay.
Dumb Things.
This weekend, I went to the Texas A&M home football game, the season opener.
Foop.
Yeah, whoop. In College Station. I went with 3 friends, and
or is it boop? Go ahead.
You know what it is. Quit it. You know.
I don't want to.
Say it.
I don't want to.
Cameron.
I hate it.
I don't care. Say it.
I hate it. I spent too much of my money there, and I'm still paying for it, and I can do whatever I want.
Okay, fine. I'll remember this. So I went with Liz, Chemo, and Rob.
Chemo is a person. I always have to say this.
Chemo is a person. K-I-M-O.
Right.
Anyway, I'm not going to go into the details of the game. Let's just say I've learned that I have a drink threshold, and once I cross that, I'm going to do something stupid.
Right.
So I've realized it is at or greater than or equal to 3, depending on what the type of drink is. But
sure.
Generally it's greater than or equal to 3, especially because I don't drink that much anymore. So the last time I had greater than or equal to 3 drinks, I slapped a cactus because I thought it was funny. And I got cacti needles in my hands.
Can I ask? Was it a sexy looking cactus?
No,
something
it just,
that you just
it looked like it needed to be slapped, and I did that. This time, I thought it would be fun to slide down a banister.
How many banisters are there in the grate?
I say banister, it was a handrail.
Okay.
So outside the MSC.
Oh, it must be nice coming from a lifestyle where you call handrails banisters.
Well, to say slide down a handrail.
Papa, I want to write down the banister. That's just a rail.
Well, would you have thought the correct thing if I said handrail?
Sure.
You just say that now. Cameron, we're in our fight, and this is a fight right now. We're having a fight.
Oh, okay. It's a little weird. Like, I don't feel like we're in a fight.
I do.
And it's kind of weird for you to stop the momentum of your story to
We're
say
in a
we're in a fight.
We're in a fight.
This is weird. Finish your story.
So I tried to slide down the handrail, and I fell backwards, and I fell hard. and I hit not only my head on the ground, but look at my elbow.
Oh, geez. Oh, no, you were ill. Oh, that's not good. Amy, look at this.
It's bruised from mid-arm to...
God.
We got to take a picture of this for the website.
Oh, no,
This needs to be seen. But also,
This needs to be seen.
My hand... Can you see the bruise on my hand?
Well, show me your other hand.
The color.
Oh. Sorry, I was coughing. I wasn't throwing up. Yeah, you got a big hand. You got a big hand.
And I've got bruises here.
You got a handrail hand.
I got a handrail hand, man.
You rubbed that hand pretty hard.
I wiped out.
So was it cool?
No! Did
anyone film you? Or
no
were
one
you just,
filmed me.
Was this like you drunk getting away from the wolf pack doing this by yourself? Look at me. And it's literally you in an empty lot.
We were walking back to our car, and I was not driving. But I was just like, oh, here's a handrail. You know what would be a great idea? And I just jumped on it. That is literally the whole thought process.
Quick rewind. Was it a backslide down or is it like a Home Alone?
No,
or
it
like
was
Christmas
backslide,
Day?
which was the problem. And that's why I fell backwards.
You got to go Christmas Day going down the stairs on a rail.
I side saddled this thing.
Yeah.
And I fell backwards.
Thank you for saying thing because I really felt like you wanted to use the B word there. Or did I make that up?
No, you did make that up, but I kind of wish I would have.
But now you want to use it? You want to say it right now? I want to slide.
Are you going to bleep it out?
Sure, we'll find out. Say it. Say it.
You better bleep it out.
We'll find out.
I side saddled.
You side sat on this?
I side saddled that.
The mic didn't pick it up. Can you say it a little louder? It doesn't matter. Anyway, this is not entertaining. So I've noticed in myself, the older I get, the more and more I'm just in tune. Like, the more AFV has always been funny. But now, like, I will find myself late at night, instead of watching TV, just going to the YouTube app and watching people get hurt. And so, like, things like this just bring a certain warmness to my heart and, you know, and just...
blueness to my elbow.
And to your hand.
I know.
I'm sorry. But thank you.
Yeah, my head feels a lot better. It hurt for a while.
Oh, I didn't even know you...
I hit my head.
No video of this.
No video.
Maybe we can do one of those... Maybe we can get one of those companies that do, like, that they did 10 years ago. Like when they're reenacting things, like the Japanese commercials, or Japanese companies would create little 3D reconstructions of events that would happen. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
I'll throw one of these videos on the website.
Do that.
Anyway.
Yes. Then I'll know.
My dumb thing for this week is New York related. I just started walking around New York a lot and just kind of went off and did a lot of my own thing. And so I found one day that I was near I shouldn't even say this, and these words shouldn't even be in the dumb thing segment, but I was around the 9/11 memorial, which is a very sobering experience. One, because just naturally, the closer you get to the area, the quieter everyone was. People were genuinely respectful of these areas. And there were a lot of people there. It was 2 days before, I think, the 16th anniversary of 9/11. And so I saw that, and I was just kind of in this weird mood, having just seen kind of the pits or these waterfalls that are now in the places of the two towers. And so I kind of felt weird, and I started walking away. I took a few pictures, and it is actually kind of cool how they were constructed, and the new tower is really cool. But I was walking away, and I went down this one street, and it's a tourist busy area. And there is this overweight couple that I can only describe as being from Ohio, not from Cincinnati. One was wearing an Ohio State hat. That's why I say that. And so we're at this area that it was a dead end, but they still had a controlled pedestrian walkway that had the lights. And so cars really weren't going down this alley. It was just to kind of help let pedestrians know when to walk. And so at the corner of this pedestrian walkway, we had a orange hand saying, "Don't walk." And the gentleman in the Ohio State hat just decided he was going to go ahead and walk out in the middle of the street. He gets about 5 steps out, and his wife just belches out, Gerald, what the hell do you think that orange hand means? Gerald. And he's like, Gerald turns around, looks at his wife, is just like, I'm going to walk. And she's like, that hand, it means stop. You come back. And he eventually came back. So she was just very loud about it. So picture me.
Somber, beautiful moment.
This not sobering moment. And then 1 block away, just the lady being as loud as she can be, literally just...
The name Gerald is upsetting me.
Yeah.
Gerald, I understand.
Yeah. I know another Gerald who's a very eccentric, interesting person up here in Dallas, but it was weird to have someone else just randomly off the street named Gerald. I call that. Anyway, that's not important. But it is important that
he was safe and his wife.
That he's safe and that he has a very nice, controlling wife. I felt like I got a real look into their whole lives together through that interaction.
Good snapshot of the stage of their marriage. Like, every marriage gets to that point at some point. Like, let's be real.
I fear so much. Well, I think that puts a nice cap and brings us to the end of this episode. Mm-hmm. Lauren, thank you for being patient with me. Actually, I canceled on you this week.
You did?
I did.
I know, that's rare.
Tit for tat.
Yeah. And I was bitter because I asked you twice, where are you going? And you never answered me.
I did. I told you I was going to New York, baby.
No, I said, where are you going? And then you just said, I'm really busy, can't record. I go, okay, but where are you going? And you never told me until you said on Sunday, I'm coming back from New York today.
I guess I did tell you eventually.
And I was just like, is he going to a secret location?
I don't know.
This is
irregardless. Regardless.
That's Amy's favorite word.
Why is there an irregardless when we could just say regardless?
I don't think there is an irregardless. There isn't.
But why am I saying it?
Because you've been brainwashed.
Is it not a word?
No.
Well, okay. Anyway.
This has been Dumb Things Part 2 with Cameron and Lauren.
And you're getting a window and all. Anyway. That about does it for this week's episode of Unhitched or Dad Trying. If you are interested, you could totally check out Lauren on Instagram at Neateroni, Neateroni. If you want to check her out on Twitter, it's Neatos Tweetos. For myself, I'm Cam Carter 2010 on Instagram and Twitter. And hey, do us a favor. If you like the podcast, definitely write us a review. It definitely helps boost our rating on iTunes and helps increase our listenership.
It makes us feel really good.
It makes us feel pretty fantastic. Heck, at this point, give us a 4-star review. We'll take it. It feels more real because we're currently at 5 stars, and it's just like, come on, we
show us how we can improve.
Right, exactly.
In a loving way.
So, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to leave us that review, tell your friends, and we'll see you again next week on another episode
of Unhitched or Dad Trying.
Bye.
Toodles.